Hey, I'm Kevin Roberts. Welcome to the show again. And by the way, I am a recovering doom scroller, and I want to tell you, stop doing it before it ruins your mental health. So, this episode is about your brain on bad news, or what really is tantamount to your addiction to bad news. So, raise your hand if this sounds familiar. You open Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok just to check the news, and suddenly, an hour later, you're plummeting into the abyss of climate catastrophes, raging wildfires swallowing entire towns, hurricanes tearing families apart, or ice caps bleeding into the ocean. Then comes the onslaught of political treachery, backroom deals, lies dripping from smug grins, another democracy crumbling. And just when your pulse starts hammering away, your chest is tight with dread, and the algorithm drags you deeper. Doomsday prep, trends you need to know now to survive the apocalypse. Your fingers twitch, maybe your stomach churns if you're like me, but you can't stop scrolling. Welcome to Doomscrolling, the modern obsession with consuming endless streams of bad news. And here's the wild part, we don't just do it by accident, we crave it. Today we're breaking down why our brains are wired for chaos, why bad news is just like junk food for your psyche, and most importantly, how to break the cycle before it burns you out. Let's dive in. So, the neuroscience of doom scrolling. Why does bad news feel so good? The dopamine trap. You've heard me talk about dopamine. Our brains are prediction machines, always scanning for threats. When we doom scroll, every shocking headline triggers a dopamine spike in the brain, the same chemical that fuels gambling and social media addiction. Uncertainty equals excitement. Our brains love unpredictability. A study in Nature, the Neuroscience, found that uncertain rewards, like what's the next terrible headline, release more dopamine than predictable ones. Then there's the just one more effect. Doom scrolling mimics a slot machine. Each refresh could deliver a shocking update, and it keeps us hooked. Then, this is something I talk a lot about, there's the brain's negativity bias. Evolutionarily, bad news equals survival info. Our ancestors who obsessed over threats like predators, they lived longer. Fast forward to 2025, and our brains still treat doom headlines like life or death alerts, even when they're not. Research shows that when we process negative info faster and remember it longer, we retain it, in other words. Social media algorithms exploit this. They push outrage and fear to keep us engaged. So doom scrolling isn't just a bad habit, it's biological warfare on your attention span. It feels like a survival necessity. Now, next point, there's an emotional payoff. Why do we choose chaos? Well, first of all, it gives us the illusion of control. Doom scrolling tricks us into thinking, if I know about the danger, I can prepare. But in reality, it's fake agency. 2023 study found that heavy news consumers felt more anxious but then less capable of solving their problems. Our brains confuse knowing with doing. Reading 50 articles on climate change does not equal taking action. That's the big fallacy. Another aspect of it is that misery loves company effect. You ever notice how shared outrage bonds people? Doom scrolling creates a twisted sense of community. Venting feels cathartic, even if it doesn't really help. And social media rewards performative worry. The world is ending. Posts like that get more engagement. It's more emotional fast food. Tastes good in the moment, but leaves you feeling worse. So we get into a vicious cycle. So doom scrolling actually kind of rewires your brain, and it's this rewiring that creates the cycle. It's basically stress on tap. Chronic exposure to bad news keeps cortisol levels in the brain high, and this leads to decision fatigue. Why bother? Everything's awful. It also leads to learned helplessness. The world's doomed, so I'll just scroll more. What the heck? Another thing that doom scrolling gets in another mindset is the mean world syndrome. Heavy news consumers start to believe the world is more dangerous than it actually is. This is well studied in social media psychology. Here's an example. Despite crime dropping for decades, most people think it's increasing, thanks to the power of sensationalized news. Look the statistics up if you care to. Your brain wasn't built for 24/7 global trauma updates. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. Of course you're drowning. So how do you break the doom scrolling habit without ignoring the news, without ignoring reality? I have a 5-minute rule. I set a timer for news consumption. 5 minutes. I got a timer on my phone. You probably do too. After 5 minutes, I ask, did that help me or did it stress me out? Another strategy is to curate your inputs, what you allow in. So mute fear-mongering accounts. Follow solutions-focused creators like climate scientists sharing actionable fixes. And use apps like I do, like OneSec, ONESEC, to block reflexive social media checks. For example, when you tap an app like Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter, OneSec blocks it for a few seconds and makes you take a deep breath to confirm that you truly want to open it. Consider getting OneSec. I have it and it helps a lot, and I'm a lot happier since I've had it. You can also replace doom with purpose. Convert your anxiety into action. Instead of scrolling, donate 5 minutes to a cause or write an email to a representative in Congress. Balance bad news with joy scrolling and follow accounts that share uplifting stories. Chaos will always be there, but you don't have to marinate in it. Your attention is your power. Spend it wisely. Now here's a final thought. Doom scrolling isn't just a bad habit. It's a psychological trap disguised as vigilance. But with awareness and small tweaks like OneSec, you can stay informed without sacrificing your mental health. I want you to leave a comment and tell us right now, what's your doom scrolling kryptonite? For me, it's threats to democracy and disease outbreaks. By the way, come back Friday for part 2. How influencers profit from your misery, because I think you will be a lot less interested in doom scrolling if I pull the veil back and show you who's really manipulating this stuff. I can't tell you, by the way, how many times I'm surfing YouTube and I see a title and a thumbnail that is deceptive. It engages me because of the sense of negativity, because of the sense of doom that it creates, and I want to know what's going on. Come back Friday and see part 2, and you might even be outraged enough to stop doing it. By the way, right now, before you exit this, like and subscribe, because that helps people get the word of this powerful information. I'm trying to make this world happier. I'm trying to help people balance the way they use technology so it enhances health and happiness instead of destroying it. Thanks for watching and thanks for your support.